actually can't believe this, maybe I can, but it's still rather shocking that Morning Joe is choosing to defend Donald Trump from the indefensible around Epstein. And this is happening, of course, the government shutdown is still here, and Donald Trump is now being revealed where he went. While millions of Americans may potentially lose their SNAP benefits, Donald Trump bolted out of town, and I now can tell you where he went. And as I said, Morning Joe is defending Donald Trump and his ties to the Epstein files. And this is one of the reasons why I don't F with Morning Joe anymore. I don't watch the show. I usually don't play the clips, but I have to play this because this is absolutely absurd. And might I remind you, before we get to this clip, the reason why I think this is so absurd, because Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough, and Mika Brzezinski went to Mar-a-Lago after Donald Trump won for no reason other than because they were scared and because they wanted to try to get in Donald Trump's good graces. And that's one of the reasons why I think channels like this are so important. So if you like this channel, please do hit like and subscribe. Let's grow independent media because this shit is unacceptable. Here's Morning Joe doing what we all know he would do.
To freedom with Trump. If you are one of the people like him who took advantage of young girls with Jeffrey Epstein, then we're going to sort of make that go away. I mean, fundamentally, Speaker Johnson...
We don't have evidence that he took advantage of young girls with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. Just common sense be damned.
I'm not saying common sense be damned. I'm saying facts. Let's look at the facts. I mean, is he in the Epstein files?
He's obviously in the Epstein files, and the reason that fundamentally Speaker Johnson has us on vacation is because he does not want to seat the newly elected Democratic representative.
Right, but you said he
Arizona.
took advantage of young girls. You have absolutely no evidence of that.
Well, we do know that Donald Trump, this is something he said, is that he was the owner of Miss USA. He's the owner of Miss USA, and he said that he would go into the pageants. He would go into the dressing rooms of the young girls so he could watch them change. And if he's saying that out loud,
I think it's pretty obvious that that's what's going on.
You think it's pretty obvious?
I do. And I think it's pretty obvious to the Republican.
John Lemire, any reporting on this?
Well, we know that he's friends with Epstein. We know the birthday card was in there. I mean, he has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
No.
I think that's the point you're trying to make. But also, certainly here, that we know that Speaker Johnson has kept the House out of session, in large part to not seat the woman, the Congresswoman-elect from Arizona, who would provide the decisive votes to release more material. So, yeah, certainly that would be, any association with further embarrassment for Trump.
And
But we don't know
the book that Virginia Giuffre wrote said she never saw him around there. And I'm not doing his bidding. I'm just saying there's enough things to talk about Donald Trump without talking about what's not been proved.
The bottom line is that his administration, whether they're protecting Trump or whoever else, they protect people who can buy their way to the White House. That's what this administration is all about. And I think that all the rest of America who recognizes that, there are people who play by one set of rules and people who play by the rest. There are people who are getting tax breaks. There are people who can buy pardons. And there's all the rest of us just trying to afford a home. That's a reality for Americans today. And the more that Democrats can speak to that other America, the real America, actually, the people who are trying to play by the rules and get ahead and maybe even just be able to go on vacation once a year, then we're going to help them. And that's what
that makes sense. There's a long leap from that to what you said. I just want to be very clear. There's enough to talk about Donald Trump without making that assumption. If you want to make that assumption, you can do that on the floor, the House floor. And if you have documents on it, then I'm sure the American people want to see that. Let's talk about...
Why would Donald Trump stop the Epstein files from being released if he's not in them? Why would Donald Trump say when he was running for president that he wanted to release the Epstein files, but then as soon as Pam Bondi and Kash Patel got in there and they saw what were in the files, Donald Trump decided that he no longer wanted to release them? Why does Donald Trump not care about the Epstein files anymore? Why do MAGA influencers not care about the Epstein files anymore? It's because Donald Trump is implicated in them. Now, has Donald Trump, molested young girls, little children? I don't know. But there's only one way we could find out. is by just releasing the files. So I don't understand this line of questioning from Joe Scarborough. Sure, like, we don't know for sure he's taking advantage of young girls, but certainly there's been a lot of incriminating actions by Donald Trump that we've seen on camera that would lead one to assume. And I don't know how you are, but you tend to hang out with people who you share common interests in, right? And he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein a lot. As Aaron Rupar said here, Joe Scarborough, who made a trip to Mar-a-Lago after the election last year, gets extremely and somewhat bizarrely defensive when a guest accuses Trump of engaging in sex crimes with Epstein. Someone else said, it's funny how Donald Trump has not sued any lawmaker that has accused him of being a pedophile, and Trump sues about everything. If Trump sues, Trump is scared of discovery. So Donald Trump doesn't want what's ever in there to come out. So then the question becomes, is Joe in the Epstein files? I don't think Joe's in the Epstein files, but you got to wonder. Now, someone who's actually telling the truth is Brooke Rollins, and Mike Johnson had to swoop in fast.
Follow-up, because reality is setting in for a lot of people this weekend. So what do you say to the millions of people who stand to lose their food stamp benefits? What should they do?
My message to America is, first, the fact that your government is failing you right now. That poverty is not red or blue. It is not a Republican or Democrat issue. It doesn't matter who you voted for or even if you voted. That if you are in a position where you can't feed your family and you're relying on that $187 a month for an average family in the SNAP program, that we have failed you.
After that, Mike Johnson swooped in immediately and tried to clean it up.
And it's clarifying. When she says we have failed you, she means we, the Democrats, okay? Because as we've just explained.
She works for a Republican administration. She's a Republican. We, the Democrats, give me a freaking break. All right. Well, as she said, America is failing you. Poverty is here, and the government shouldn't be helping poverty increase. Well, Donald Trump doesn't seem to give a flying F, because here he is at his 1920s themed Halloween party at his $1 million mansion. The billionaire president, who has taken billions of dollars in crypto money, has never been richer off of the backs of us. And as it says here, Donald Trump is partying with his wealthy billionaire donor friends in Florida just hours before crucial programs like SNAP, Head Start, and more expire for millions of Americans. You do not hate him enough. Well, I don't think we should hate anyone, but I do think that we should make sure that Donald Trump suffers politically from these actions. And just putting a pin in this, Donald Trump also renovated the Lincoln bathroom. And again, while folks are not going to be able to eat because they're not getting SNAP benefits, Donald Trump thought it was an important time to remind Americans that they spent taxpayer money to make a gilded marble bathroom. Here's how it used to look. Here's how it looks now. So Donald Trump doesn't care that Americans are suffering. He doesn't care at all. I don't think Joe Scarborough cares that Americans are suffering. I do. I care. That's why I donated before to my local pantry. I invite you to do the same thing. $5, $10, $1. It all helps. If you can't donate, you can donate your time. If you have like unperishable food laying around, donate that. But certainly we can all make a difference. And certainly I know that you care more than Donald Trump. That makes me happy. That makes me feel good. So thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.